let's start off with the topic of finance that is known as cash flow forecasting. And I've made a sample cash flow forecast which I'm going to complete right now in this video so that you have an idea about calculations as well. And then we are going to discuss a little bit about theory as well. So we have cash flow forecast given in the format. The format varies. In some cases, the examiner may not give you the detail of such cash outflows and may directly give you a direct value of cash outflows that is a total value. But for simplicity, I have given details so that it's easy for us to comprehend. We have cash inflows of various months, and then we have cash outflows. The first step that you're going to do is you're going to add all the relevant cash outflows, as you can see here, and the total is amounting to 4,000 in the month of January, to 6,500 in the month of February, and 3,000 in the month of March. Now what you're going to do is, in order to calculate the net cash flows, you need to subtract cash inflows from cash outflow. In this case, it becomes 1,000 negative. In this case, it becomes 5,000 negative. And in the month of March, it would obviously become 15,000 positive. So these all are negative values and these all are positive values. Alright, since it was the first month of this forecast, I have, for simplicity reasons, considered no opening balance. So at the end of January 31st, you have a liability. In other words, you have a cash outflow. The net cash flow of 1,000 negative. This is the closing balance for January and would be transferred to February as it is. In other words, the closing balance of a previous month or period will become the opening balance of the next month or next period. Now, in order to calculate the closing balance of February, you had a net cash flow that was negative 5,000, and you even have a negative net cash flow from the month of January that was 1,000. So in other words, by the end of Feb, you are left with a liability or cash outflow amounting to the amount of 6,000. Now this closing balance will automatically become the opening balance of the next month, that is March. And the closing balance for March will become 9,000. Now the question is, why in the first place would businesses want to calculate, to predict such inflows and outflows, to make a forecast, considering that it's a forecast and it may change? Well, there are various reasons why would businesses want to consider forecasting their cash flows. And primarily, one of the most important reasons is that such forecast can act as a supporting application when it comes to obtain funds. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is, when you talk about new businesses in particular. Now, new businesses do not have income statements and balance sheets, and they would need to acquire confidence of banks. So what they do is they present banks with their business plans and they present bank with their cash flow forecasts. Both these things combined with all other requirements such as providing collateral or security is likely to strengthen your case when it comes to obtaining finance. So it can be used to obtain finance specifically for new businesses and even existing businesses as well. Another usefulness is that it helps you pretty much. It helps you, this is an internal benefit, it helps you in cash flow management. Now obviously, why do we say this? If you focus, this particular forecast is going to help you identify the sources, the amounts, and even the timings of both cash inflows and outflows. And since you know the sources, amounts and timings, you can manage cash accordingly. What do I mean? For example, if you see these months, in the month of February, there seems to be the highest negative cash flow, or in other words, the highest negative closing balance. And if you focus on the reasons, you can see that the month of March has apparently the highest cash outflows, and not just this, but the lowest cash inflows as well. So is there any possibility in which I can perhaps improve February positions overall, because if I don't, it's pretty much obvious that in the month of Feb I might soon run into a liquidity crisis, because I have extremely high net cash outflows and do not have respective cash inflows as such. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there is any possibility in which I can manage my expenses, and I can see that there is a payment outstanding to my supplier that amounts to 4,000. Perhaps if I can shift it in the month of March, February's position may not be that damaging because I have generous cash inflows in March. So if I were to shift this here, now there may be a drawback that you may lose some discounts and this amount may not be 4,000, maybe 4,500. Still, even if it was 4,500 or even 5,000, I will not be in such a disastrous position as I would be in February. So what you can do is, how would it help in cash flow management? You can think about delaying payments. You can consider the opportunity to delay payments, and even not just delay payments, but you can even, what you can do is you can inform the bank for any likely need for a bank overdraft in the month of February. You are likely to run into a liquidity crisis. So you can tell your bank, you can pre-inform your bank that you may need a bank overdraft, and since you'll be pre-informing the bank, you'll be letting the bank know in advance, you will be charged lesser interest on your overdraft as well. So these are the primary reasons. You are not to forget the fact that this is a forecast and this may change with the passage of time, and obviously it depends upon the business environment as well, to what extent it is dynamic or not. So I hope this topic is made easier. Thank you.